Hi, I'm Greg from Zenatta Consulting. This is a tutorial on creating courses inside of Zoho Learn. If you find this video helpful, please consider liking and subscribing, sharing with your friends, hitting that notification bell. Let's get into the video. Enjoy. Great, so you've got a bunch of information in your Zoho Learn, but now you got to find out, do your people actually retain any of it? And that's what we could do here with the courses. We can create quizzes, assignments, lessons that you can use to kind of parse out information for them and test them on it. Now, a course doesn't have to include any quizzes, but that's most often what you'll probably be using it for. Inside of editing a course, you can set up different chapters within that course, and then inside of those chapters are lessons. And within each of those lessons, there are a couple of different uh, lesson content types you can put in. So inside of this chapter called strings, I've already got a text piece of content as well as a block piece of content. I'll talk about that in just a second. But we can add another kind. So if I have a new lesson, and when I first add the lesson, I have this add content button that shows up. And here's where I can decide what piece of content do I want going in here. Do I want to add a video, add an assignment, a quiz, a document, or text? And then blocks are where you could have an assortment of multiple other content types. So if I come back into the fields that are string type, this is a block. So here I can add text, lists, images, videos, an audio clip, another document that I want to upload. And then you also have this option that doesn't really show up elsewhere called process, that if you add that one in there, this creates kind of a sliding, just slides. It creates some slides that you can put, steps that you want your learners to see and be able to like swipe left or right to go between the different steps. And then one important thing to note is that once you select what type of content you're putting in here, then this content type has now been kind of solidified. I can't change what content type goes in here. I can change what this assignment is, but now, for example, I can't change this to a block or text or a video. I would need to, or if I wanted to just switch to a block, I would actually have to delete it and then re-add the content to get that different content type. Let's talk about the quizzes, because like I said, that's the kind of thing that you'll probably be using a lot. So when it comes to creating a quiz, there are 4 different kinds of questions that are offered inside of Zoho Learn. A single choice where it's multiple choice and there's only one answer. Multiple choice, which that always gets a little bit confusing to me, is when you've got single choice and multiple choice, but they're both multiple choice questions. It's really about whether or not there's one answer or if more than one of the options can be correct. So single choice means there's only one right answer. Multiple choice means there's more than one right answer. And people need to check the boxes of all of the options that are a correct answer. And inside of these types of questions, they're structured mostly the same way, except when it comes to saying which one is correct. That you'll have a question title. You can also add an additional description to that question. Here we have a rich text field that we can add and format inside of. Then inside of here, you have all your different choices where, again, these are all rich text fields. So you can put in, you can format with bold, italics. You can even insert images or videos or tables into these options. And you can also insert a code sample if you're working particularly in the software realm. You can add the additional choices down here. I have never run into a limit of how many choices you can add, but I also haven't tried to hit the limit. So uh, hopefully you won't run anything there. You can also turn on optional settings for these questions of providing custom feedback so that whenever somebody answers, you could provide a little bit more context about why the answer is a certain thing, and then you can adjust how much score this particular question should be. The other options for questions are fill in the blanks, where you can have a question, and if you can put you can use this nomenclature of square brackets to put in the blank option. So if I were to say Zenatta is my, and I'll put in the square brackets, and inside of the brackets we'll give the multiple answers that could be true by separating them with a comma. Is my favorite uh, all-time favorite, or uh, least not favorite consulting firm. And so now if I go to preview, and if I start this quiz, I'll go ahead and skip the first two. Then you can see that I've got the blank option here now where I can fill in with the right answer. When a user finishes a quiz, depending on the options that you've set up, they can see whether or not they've answered. So here I can see that I skipped these two questions and I answered this one. I still haven't submitted it yet. Once I hit complete quiz, then that's me submitting it as complete. Here I can now see what my score is. I only got one. Well, it's only answered one question. Depending on the settings that you put for your quiz, you can have a user have multiple attempts, or you can also have just a single attempt. And then the last question option was the descriptive option, which is a long answer, right? Where you have a question here, you can have an additional description, and a learner will need to write a short answer or very, very long answer. Just really depends, I guess, on the question. And then lastly, I want to talk about where it says from question bank. So I'm going to hop out of the quiz and lesson editor right now, going back to the main learning page. And up here, we've got a couple of sub-tabs. So right now, what we've been looking at is if you're creating a quiz. So that's under the My Authoring tab, right? Anything that I am creating. Up here, you also have My Learning, which is any courses that I'm enrolled in. Explore is where if my organization has published any courses that they've labeled as public, I can browse the catalog here and join whichever course I want. But I want to talk right now about the question banks. So here, question banks are where you can bundle up questions together when you want to use them in all sorts of different quizzes, which I highly recommend using because while there is an option for cloning an entire lesson, there is not a cloning option for cloning a particular quiz. So if you want to be able to use questions in a lot of different lessons, or if you want to create a large bank of questions and then have a smaller subset of them randomized for your learners so that they're not taking the same exact quiz over and over, you'll want to use one of these question banks. And so here I can have inside of a question bank, I can assign different topics that my questions have to do with. And in here, this all now looks exactly the same as the editor that I was just in, right? I've got my questions over here. Here I can add if it should be single choice, multiple choice, fill in the blank, descriptive, etc. Another option that is on here is I can set whether or not a particular question has a time limit that I think somebody needs to go fast or slow on a particular question. And once I've created all of those questions in here, now if we go back to the authoring and we go back to that lesson editor, if I go to edit the content of this quiz, I can choose to add from one of those question banks. So I can do a random set of questions. So if I say, all right, let me pull from the deluge questions, and here I have all of those question topics separated, and I can decide how many questions do I want pulled from each of these sections, and then how many points should each of those questions be. So let's say, all right, I want 3 from the data types section, and we'll get 2 from the building JSON data section. And the building JSON data one, I'll say that that's a little bit more high level, so maybe I'll say that that's 3 points per question. I can add that to the quiz. And so now I've got these sections here where I can change how many questions are being selected or the score, but I can't go in and edit any specific that I want, oh, this question to be this score, this question to be this score, because it's going to be randomized. But what you can do, if there are specific questions that you would like your users to answer every time, so let's say I've got 2 questions that they should always answer first, and then they can do a set of random ones. But there's 1 or 2 that I definitely want them to hit. Then you can also select questions from a question bank. And so if I come here, I can see that while I'm selecting a question, that there are already 3 out of 6 questions from this data types topic that are already being used in the randomized section. So that means that it's saying here that I can only select 3, up to 3 of these questions, because more than that, then there wouldn't be enough for the randomizer to pick from. So let's say I want to pick these 2 and then this one from my parsing data. Then I'll add that to the quiz. So now I can see here are those specific questions that I have copied over. So here now I can't edit the question itself, such as, which is the correct answer or anything like that, but I can adjust the individual question score. And again, when it comes to creating these lessons, once you are ready to publish, once you've filled out your lesson, then you can add learners from your user list to participate in this course. When it comes to adding the learners, you can add specific users, or you can also publish it to be sent to the entire hub, so your entire organization, in which case people could just enroll themselves. Or you can have it set to the default, which is that they have to be invited to participate first. In addition, you can set up notification settings for when a learner completes a lesson or a quiz. Do you want to get emailed about it? Do you want to receive a notification? You can get way down to the nitty-gritty about all the branding to make it look whatever way you want. You can add tags. You can also add additional users as co-authors if you want help building this course. Because by default, if you're creating the course before you've published it, nobody else can see it. But if you want someone to help you out before it gets published, you can add them as a co-author. In addition, you can also have uploaded files here as resources. If you wanted to have, let's say, I guess the equivalent of a textbook that somebody could go back to look at, this is where you would upload that media. And then finally, there are even further customizations that you could do with how people enroll in your course, if your course has an expiration, how long somebody should take to finish this course, whether they can mark themselves as complete or if they have to be approved by an admin, and then finally certificates that you can then present to your employees once they have completed a given course. Thank you for joining us for that video. If you enjoyed it, please don't forget to like, subscribe, and press the notification bell. That way you can be alerted when we post new content here on the Zenatta channel. If you have any questions or feedback for us, please feel free to leave those in the comments below. It really helps us improve our work here at Zenatta, and your question could be answered in a CRM Zen show in a future week. Thank you once again, and we'll see you next time.